In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to do the joining pocket round in the body section of this top-down child's hoodie. At this point, your project should look a little something like this. I'm doing color changes for each section, so just to review, the blue is our collar section, this white is the placket section, pink is the raglan section, the second band of white is where we should separate for the sleeves, and then we go on to knit the pocket in the flat, which I did in green. After we complete the pocket, we cut our yarn and rejoin it right here at the left side of the pocket to knit our body, which I did in purple. I do like to point out a couple of things. First being this hole that tends to develop on the left side of the pocket. Don't worry about it too much. When we weave in this end, that'll help mitigate the hole. The second thing is how this first row of our body looks really stretched out and funky. You might have noticed when we were knitting our pocket in the flat, the first row of our pocket looked stretched out. This is the reason why we knit our pocket first, is because when we rejoin our yarn and knit the body, it tends to stretch all that little bit of extra yarn back here, which ends up being covered by our pocket. Now the pattern says to continue knitting in the round until the body measures a ½ inch less than the pocket. A good way to do this is to flip your work over and on a flat surface, lay your pocket flat, looking at the wrong side, and then lay the body of the sweater on top of it. And our pocket should be just about a ½ inch longer than that body section that we're working on. The reason why we do this is we have these two sections of garter stitch, which ends up working like a little piece of elastic. And if you knitted the same amount of the pocket as you did on the body, these little elastic sections pull on your hem and end up flipping the hem upward. This is a sample that I was working on when I was designing this sweater, and you can see here I knit the same amount of stitches on the body as I did on the pocket, and that hem is having a really hard time staying flat and not flipping upward, even after blocking. Now we're going to be knitting in the round, continuing with our working yarn. We have a spare needle, which has all of our pocket stitches, and 2 stitch markers. One underneath the right arm, as if we were wearing the sweater, and that indicates our beginning of round, and another marker that's underneath the left arm, which is our halfway point. Now is a good time to count your stitches and make sure you have the correct stitch count for the pocket and the correct number of stitches for the front of your sweater. Now, the joining pocket round says to knit 3 stitches. Keep in mind that I'm making the size 2, so your stitch count might be different than what I'm doing, depending on the size sweater you are making. Now it says to pick up the spare needle and knit 1 stitch from the pocket together with 1 stitch from the body. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to stab the first stitch on the pocket with my working needle, and then I'm going to stab the first stitch of the body, and I'm going to knit them together. Wrapping the yarn, bringing it through, and now taking both stitches off the needle. Stab that pocket stitch, stab that body stitch, wrap, bring through, take off. Now we're going to continue doing this all the way, matching up all the stitches on the front of our sweater with our pocket stitches until we have no more stitches left on our spare needle. Once we've finished knitting those last stitches from our pocket, we can just set that spare needle aside. The row continues to read knit 3, slip marker, we should be at our halfway point marker, and knit to end. Our next round reads knit 3, purl 5. Now I do want to note that these 5 stitches that you're about ready to purl should line up with the garter stitch of our pocket. Knit 37, purl 5. Keep in mind those 5 stitches should line up with the garter stitch of your pocket. And then knit 3, remove marker. This marker should be our halfway point. We don't need it any longer. And knit to end. Okay, just to recap, what we've done is we've knit 3 stitches, and then we knit all the stitches from our pocket together with the stitches from the body. We continue and finish that round, and then on our next round, we knit 3 and purl 5 stitches, which ends up matching up with the garter stitch on either side of our pocket. When you lay it flat, the pocket should have a little bit of extra room because it is longer than our body. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Thanks for watching.